Last year I saw YouTuber Crazy Postman do a similar video to this, and I thought in the spirit of transparency it would be nice to do one for myself for the viewers of this channel. This will cover cash flows and also what I intend to do for the next year. First off, YouTube earnings, $3,553.18. These are the trips that I took during the year, and if you use the IRS allotted amount of 67 cents per mile, this is the amount that is the expensed value for each one of those trips according to the miles traveled. And you can see even if we took off the Grand Canyon, I'm still well over my earnings. And I also purchased an infrared thermometer in order to shoot one video on a level 2 charger. I thought that would be helpful. Actually, I think it was the extension cable that I did it on. I thought that'd be useful and add a little bit of value to the content. And additionally, my father, who was in commercial finance, helped small business owners get started, always just used to say that it's important that you pay yourself, meaning your time has a dollar amount associated with it. And in these numbers, my time is not included, so I'm not paying myself. If I included the dollar amount for my time that I've committed to this channel, the number would be obviously much higher. So as we could see, if this was being operated as a business, I'd be operating at a pretty hefty loss. But I'm really not, and I'll explain that in just a second. But just in the spirit of transparency, I went on all these trips. I did buy something, and these were my earnings throughout the year. And I would caution anyone, if someone is trying to get into YouTube because they think they have an opportunity for fame and fortune, maybe, but those are long odds. Really, this is a social media platform which allows people who participate an outlet for engaging with people of like mind and a way of expressing things you're passionate about, in my personal opinion. Although there are professional YouTubers, and I don't frown on people who are in YouTube as professional content creators. In fact, I consume a lot of the content of people who are doing that. In my personal case, it's just a social media outlet. Speaking to that, just for transparency, let me see if I can shrink my head a little bit. It's covering over the words. For transparency, I am not going after fame and fortune. Really, all this evolved out of was a passion for electric vehicles and a intrigue in the technology with video creation and the ability to engage on a social media platform with people of like mind. That's really my motivation for this channel. Let's see. So the creating of videos as a technical professional is something that I've found to be an engaging pastime, where I'm able to record video, edit it, produce it, and publish it. And that whole technical process is something that I've found personal enjoyment in. So although it is a pretty significant amount of free time commitment in order to create the videos, I enjoy it. So for me, although I'm not getting paid for creating these videos, I suppose I am to some extent. Really what is going on with the YouTube money is it's partially offsetting my hobby, I guess is a way of describing it, to the tune of maybe a third of the expenses that I'm committing to pursuing this hobby are getting offset with some form of reimbursement from YouTube earnings, I think is a way of describing it. Also, I do get the sense that I'm giving back a little bit because as a technical professional, being able to do research in something that I'm passionate about, being able to create a video, and that content being consumed by others has a little bit of sense that I'm trying to give back a little bit to the community that is also something that I'm a part of. So it makes me feel like I belong into a community. And I think that's the whole concept of social media and one of the reasons why it's so popular. And so I do get that benefit, I guess is a way of describing it. And I think the content I create has got a bit of a niche to it where my focus is on brevity and providing data-centered videos that are covering the progress of electric vehicle adoption and things like that. So I think I've carved out a little bit of a unique niche in that respect, and so that gives me a little bit of personal pride. The EVs in general, also, as I said, the process of creating videos is something that I find personal enjoyment, but also electric vehicles and the electrification of transportation as a technical intrigue is also something that I find a great deal of enjoyment in exploring and following and pursuing as changes occur, because it's a very exciting time to be alive when we look at the electrification of transportation and all that benefit it will have. In my personal opinion, although there's a lot of talk about benefit for the environment, the major benefit is an increased quality of life for people who adopt electric vehicles, because you have just a much easier time of your personal transportation as an electric vehicle owner in multiple different ways. And I go on that in other videos. But anyway, so electric vehicle is an area, electric vehicle and electrification adoption is an area that I find a good deal of personal enjoyment in exploring. Why did it go backwards? Okay. And now goals for 2025. Anyone who's out here who has requests for videos you'd like for me to create, feel free to submit them, and I'll be more than happy to entertain those. If it's feasible, then I will do so. This is a social media platform, and people who are out there and engaging with the channel, I find a great deal of enjoyment with. So I appreciate everyone out there who both consumes the content and also interacts with me on comments and things like that. This is a hobby of mine, and I really like engaging with people with similar interests. So as a social media platform, YouTube, I think, is pretty fulfilling. And if anyone is considering doing content creation, I definitely encourage you to do so. And there's no such thing as failing until you quit. So just keep trying, and I'll be happy to support you. Drop me a line for a channel that you've created, and I'll be sure to call it out. A couple of things that I'm trying to improve are my editing skills, and I just got a drone. I'd like to incorporate the use of drone in videos a little bit more. Also, my wife and I were discussing the logo. I like the name because really who I am as a professional is a network architect. So I think the name is descriptive of who I am as a professional individual, and that's reflective of the channel. Although the content is EV-centric, I still like the title, the Network Architect Channel, EV series. So my wife is going to try to come up with a new logo in the coming weeks, and so there'll be a little bit of rebranding in that respect. Also, I'd like to do more interviews and increase my better audio, because the last couple of times I've done outdoor videos, there's been wind and it's kind of been low quality audio. So I'm looking at investing a little bit more in increasing my audio game. And lastly, I'm sure everyone's going to appreciate this: better pronunciation of city names. I go through a lot of city names in the electric vehicle charging station updates that I do, just because every single time there's like a dozen new city names that I need to pronounce, and there's always one in there that catches me, and there's people who seem to be very, very forthcoming with correct pronunciations. And so what I'm going to try to do is, as I have updates, I'm going to try to go through the city names and make sure I have pronunciations correct. These three I recently had blowback from. Let me see if I can pronounce them correctly this time. Duarte. And according to my mother-in-law, the emphasis is on the first syllable. This is actually a two-syllable word. And there's one more I should probably throw in here, but I'll get to that in a second. Is a Spanish word, Duarte. So the te is like short, abbreviated. And this is either Severville, which is the way one person was recommending I pronounce it, or Severville, Tennessee. So it could. I lived in the mountains of North Carolina for a while, and mountain folk there tend to slur their words a little bit. It's kind of like a southern accent with a bit of a twist, the mountain folk, and their politics are slightly different. Instead of driving red pickup trucks, they drive blue pickup trucks in the mountains, and their southern drawl is slightly different. So this word I've heard pronounced a few different ways, but according to a viewer, it's Severville. And then the last one not Caddy, which is how I thought it was pronounced. I think I heard someone pronounce it that way, and I just assumed that was correct. It's Katy, Texas, and that's not Texas. It should be Texas. The last one is Amarillo. According to my wife, the correct pronunciation is the Spanish word for yellow, amarillo. So we American cowboys decided to take that word and call it Amarillo, but really it's amarillo. So anyway, point being is that I'm going to try to do a better job of city pronunciations, getting them correct the first time, so I don't have to bother people by having them chime in with corrections. So just something that I'm working on. And I do appreciate when people chime in and let me know that it was an incorrect pronunciation. No offense taken. By all means, I'm not a perfect person. So that and any other form of correction or feedback, I'm always open to. I think you'll find me to be a very open and accommodating person to corrections. I don't take any offense. Anyway, that's what we could expect for 2025. I appreciate everyone participating in 2024. It's been a great year. I think we have a great year in store in 2025. Should be a ton of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Thanks for watching.